In this explainer video, we'll summarize some of the key ideas covered in the first module of Management 4893, specifically as they relate to strategic analysis. Strategic analysis helps general managers answer two questions that are fundamental to strategy. First, where should the company compete? This question is aimed at deciding both what business to be in the first place and identifying where potential opportunities exist within the competitive landscape of that business. Second, how should the company compete? This question is aimed primarily at deciding how the company can best position itself for success within its chosen industry. The answers to these questions correspond to two types of analysis strategists need to be good at: external analysis and internal analysis. To make sound decisions about how to compete, internal analysis helps companies analyze themselves, looking internally for key insights. To better understand where to compete, external analysis helps companies to carefully study and analyze their external environment, seeking to understand the dynamics of competition. Effective internal analysis allows a company to determine both what its strengths are, those areas where they may have an advantage over competitors, and what its weaknesses are, those areas where they may be at a disadvantage. Effective external analysis is especially useful in helping companies to identify potential opportunities, areas in the competitive landscape that are especially attractive, as well as potential threats, areas that present significant potential risks. A useful framework that brings these two types of analysis together is the SWOT framework. While there are many possible ways to conduct a SWOT analysis, two tools have proven to be particularly useful to practicing managers over the years. The first is the resource-based view for assessing companies internally, and the second is the 5 forces framework for assessing a company's competitive environment. Resources, the things the firm has, can be tangible or intangible, and when combined in valuable ways, represent the building blocks of capabilities, the things the firm can do. In turn, collections of capabilities represent the building blocks of competencies, the order-winning proficiencies that attract customers. The resource-based view suggests that resources, capabilities, and competencies can lead to competitive advantage when they are valuable, enable companies to increase value to customers, rare, are not generally held broadly by other competitors, and inimitable, are very costly or impossible to imitate or substitute for. A 5 forces analysis can help companies assess which resources might be most important. Rivalry, the competition between companies operating in the same business, usually represents the most powerful competitive force in an industry. But the competitive prospects of companies can also be heavily influenced by 4 additional forces: buyers or end users and their agents, suppliers or individuals and companies that produce the inputs to a company's production process, new entrants or new competitors in the industry, and substitutes, companies that do the same job for customers but using a product or technology from a different industry. By assessing the characteristics of each of these forces in relation to the characteristics of rivals in the industry, strategists can ascertain where opportunities might exist, areas where forces are relatively weak, and where there may be threats, areas where forces are particularly strong. Ultimately, competitive advantage depends on carefully making choices about where to compete and how that fit together in a cycle of strategic analysis that gives the firm clear visibility of its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The resource-based view and 5 forces analysis are useful tools for doing so.